In our body, different waste products are produced by the process of metabolism. Removal of these waste products is of utmost importance in order to smooth and normal functioning of the body. Our excretory system is involved in this work. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Nivedita Kauri, MBBS student at Bankura Shommiloni Medical College, West Bengal. Today, I will teach you the structure of human excretory system. But before starting, you tell me, humans are ammonotelic or ureotelic or uricotelic? Which one? Yes, the answer is ureotelic because our major excretory product is urea. Can you tell me the name of an animal which is both ammonotelic and ureotelic? Yes, the answer is earthworm. If you thought it to be ascaris, then also you are correct. Okay, let's start today's topic. First, we should know which organs of human body help in excretion. A pair of kidneys are our principal excretory organ. Yes, it is absolutely correct. But apart from kidneys, our lungs, liver and skin also help in excretion. Today, my discussion will be on kidney and its associated organs. So, let's start. We have a pair of kidneys. These are dark red colored bean-shaped organs located in the abdominal cavity close to the dorsal wall. On the center of the medial wall, there is a notch-like concavity which is known as the hilum. You can imagine this hilum as the gateway of kidney. Several structures like the ureter, blood vessels, lymph vessels, nerve either enter or exit the kidney through this hilum. The kidneys are 10 to 12 centimeter in length, 5 to 7 centimeter in width and 2 to 3 centimeter in thickness. Their weight is approximately 120 to 170 gram. The kidneys are extended from the 12th thoracic vertebra to the 3rd lumbar vertebra, 12th thoracic to 3rd lumbar. And the right kidney is situated slightly lower than the left one because on the right side we have our liver. The kidneys are protected by the floating ribs. Which ribs are floating ribs? Yes, the last two pairs are the floating ribs. The kidneys are our important organs, so they are covered by some protective covering. On the outer aspect, there is renal fascia. Inner to the renal fascia, there is adipose tissue layer. This layer is the adipose tissue layer. And inner to this adipose tissue layer, there is the renal capsule. As you can see here, this one is the renal capsule. Renal tissue is divided into two parts. Renal tissue, two parts, outer cortex and inner medulla. This is the renal cortex. Renal medulla contains some pyramid-like structures. These are known as the medullary pyramids. And in between the medullary pyramids, the cortex extends into the medulla. These extensions are known as the columns of Bartini. As you can see here, the cortex is extending to the medulla. These are known as columns of Bartini. The tip of the renal pyramids are connected to minor calyces. Minor calyces. the minor calyces join together to produce 2 to 3 major calyces. And the major calyces ultimately open into the renal pelvis. Renal pelvis is a funnel-shaped space located in the hilum, located near the hilum. This is the renal pelvis. Let's have a brief recap of kidney using this image. This is a kidney. This portion is the concave portion. So this is the hilum. You can see this hilum is acting as the gateway of kidney. This is the cortex and this is the medulla. These are the medullary pyramids, and in between the medullary pyramids the cortex is extending as the columns of Bartini. These are the minor calyces which join together to form the major calyx, and all the major calyces are ultimately opening into the renal pelvis, and the renal pelvis is further continued as the ureter. The structural and functional unit of kidney is nephron. Each kidney has approximately 1 million of nephron. Let's have an idea about the structure of it. The nephron has two parts. Glomerulus and renal tubule. The glomerulus is actually a tuft of capillaries. It looks like this one. It is produced by an afferent arteriole, which is a fine branch of the renal artery. So it's a branch of the renal artery. It leaves the glomerulus as the efferent arteriole. If we look into the diameter of the afferent arteriole and the efferent arteriole, they are not same. The efferent arteriole is much thinner than the afferent arteriole. Why? Is there any reason behind it? Yes. The narrower efferent arteriole exerts resistance against blood flow, and this in turn maintains the filtration force along the glomerular capillaries. Then the renal tubule. The renal tubule has some parts. The Bowman's capsule, PCT or the proximal convoluted tubule, the loop of Henle, and the DCT or distal convoluted tubule. The Bowman's capsule is actually a double-walled cup-like structure which encloses the glomerulus. The Bowman's capsule and glomerulus together, they are known as the renal corpuscle or the Malpighian body. Then there is the PCT. It is located in the proximal part of the renal tubule and it is highly coiled or convoluted. That's why it is known as the proximal convoluted tubule. PCT is lined by simple cuboidal brush bordered epithelium. It can reabsorb 70 to 80% of electrolytes and water. PCT helps to maintain the pH of body fluids by secreting H+ ion, hydrogen ion, potassium ion and absorbing bicarbonate ion. After the PCT, we have the Henle's loop. Henle's loop is the useparate part of renal tubule. It has a descending limb and an ascending limb. Both the limbs in turn has a thick segment and a thin segment. Henle's loop helps to maintain the osmolarity of the interstitial fluid. You will get a clear idea about it when I will describe the concentration of urine. After the Henle's loop, there is the DCT. It is the distal coiled or convoluted part of renal tubule. It can absorb sodium ion, water, and it also helps to maintain the pH of body fluid. The DCT of different nephrons join together to form the collecting duct. The collecting duct then join, they produce the duct of Bellini. And the duct of Bellini, all the duct of Bellini ultimately open in the renal pelvis via the minor calyces and then via the major calyces. The efferent arteriole, which comes out of the glomerulus, produces a fine network of capillaries around the renal tubule. It is known as the peritubular capillaries. A fine branch of these capillaries runs along the Henle's loop. It is known as vasa recta. The renal corpuscle, PCT and DCT of a nephron are situated in the cortex, but the loop of Henle goes inside the medulla. According to the length of loop of Henle which goes inside the medulla, the nephrons can be classified into two groups, the cortical nephrons and the juxtamedullary nephrons. In case of cortical nephrons, the loop of Henle goes inside the medulla for a shorter distance, but for the juxtamedullary nephrons, the loop of Henle goes deep inside the medulla. The cortical nephrons constitute 85% of total nephrons, but the juxtamedullary nephrons constitute only 15%. The vasa recta is either absent or very short in case of cortical nephrons, but it is quite prominent in case of the juxtamedullary nephrons. The cortical nephrons work under normal condition, but the juxtamedullary nephrons work under stress. They maintain the plasma volume when water supply is less. Now, what is JGA or juxtaglomerular apparatus? Juxta means near. So, it is something near the glomerulus. It is actually a sensitive region which is produced by cellular modifications. It is located at the junction of distal convoluted tubule and the glomerulus. It has three components: the JG cells or the juxtaglomerular cells, Lassus cells and macula densa. The juxtaglomerular cells are the modified smooth muscle cells of the tunica media of afferent arteriole. They can secrete renin and can activate the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. I will be talking about this system in my subsequent videos. The Lassus cells are the mesangial cells. They are the phagocytic cells of kidney. And macula densa can activate the JG cells to release renin. The kidneys are done. Let's move on to the other structures. They are the ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. We have two ureters. They arise from the kidneys. Actually, the renal pelvis further extends as the ureter. The ureters carry urine from kidney to the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is a muscular bag-like structure. It is lined inside by the transitional epithelium. And transitional epithelium is responsible for the elasticity of the urinary bladder. It contains detrusor muscle in its wall, and inside the urinary bladder there is a triangular area which is known as the bladder trigone. Bladder trigone is located in between three openings. On the upper part, there are two openings of the two ureters, and below there is the opening of the urethra. Urethra is a canal-like structure. It is much shorter in females as compared to males. In case of females, it is 4 cm in length, but in case of males, the urethra is 20 cm in length. In case of females, the urethra carries only urine and it opens outside by the urethral aperture. But in case of males, the urethra carries both urine and semen and it opens by the urinogenital aperture. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Press the bell icon to get notified about new videos. Thank you and happy learning.